here. I also have some material in here about land preservation and parkland in Edgewood. So I'll run through my prepared material and hopefully we have some time for questions. Okay, so just a quick little bit about who the Harford Land Trust is. So we are a nonprofit here covering the entirety of Harford County. That is both the urban and rural areas, and we were founded in 1991. We are a nationally accredited land trust. We have 3 full-time staff. Everyone else is a volunteer, and our mission is to conserve the land and protect its natural resources for the benefit of all people in Harford County. We have 4 main buckets of land that we prioritize, and you can see them here. So these are natural lands, agricultural lands, lands with contributions for water quality, and then also lands for people, which is much of what I'll talk about tonight. I think it's important to say, because sometimes this is confusing for people, that conservation and land protection truly is an investment. It's not an expense. And we have more data than you would ever want to know. I could bore you to tears with the statistics and data around the benefits to the environment, to people, and to our economy. So if this is of interest to you, especially on our website, we have copious material to help everyone understand this statement of why it is an investment, not an expense. When we talk about parkland, though, we typically use 4 main things to help us identify areas of the county that would be suitable for parkland. So first is community engagement. Things like tonight, the relationships that we make, the people that call our office. I mean, it really is oftentimes, and this is definitely the case with Foster Branch, it is a community member that alerts us to a piece of property and its features, and then we're able to look into it and start to put the pieces together. There is also in Maryland something called a park equity map, and this is lots of different demographic data overlaid with our park system to really help us identify where parks are deficient, where there is a higher population of youth, where transportation is difficult to get to parks and things like that. That map does feed into Harford County's Land Preservation Parks and Recreation Plan, or the LPPRP, and Terry could probably answer all of your detailed questions about that. We do use that document heavily. This is where the county maps out specifically where populations are projected to grow, where the rec councils are very large, where we have certain deficiencies. For example, there's a metric that says that we need 30 acres of parkland per 1,000 residents, so it helps identify things like that where we need more. In this area, I know that in the old Joppa area, it's not the development envelope, but broadly speaking, in the development envelope, the goal is for everyone to be able to walk to a park within 15 minutes. And if you live outside of the development envelope, you should be able to drive to a park within 15 minutes. We also have a planning document that we use. We have all these wonderful maps here in the Chesapeake Bay area. There's more maps than you'd ever want to know. But just to point out, there's a whole lot of different things that go into the soup, if you will, when we start looking at properties. Unfortunately, we have to say no more than we say yes at the Land Trust. We have limited time and resources, but we do try our very best to put our effort where we're going to have success and where it's going to make the biggest difference for the community. A little bit about what I call our toolkit is we deliver our mission in a host of different ways. We do real property transactions. Someone once said to me that a land trust is like a really complicated real estate office and a nonprofit mushed together, and that is definitely true. We transact in actually buying and selling land. We receive donated land, and we also do conservation easements. When a lot of you hear about private land preservation, ag land preservation, that kind of falls in that bucket too. Subject matter expertise. We have a lot of people on our board with experience in land use, in real estate, in finance, and those sorts of things. So oftentimes we are called upon to provide advice and expertise in all of those different buckets. Also, certainly in the environmental space, we have a lot of people involved with the organization who know a fair bit about sustainable agricultural, about ecology, about rare, threatened, and endangered species, and things like that. We do a lot with trying to bring money to the county. In just the past 4 years, we've brought $20 million of federal and state money to Harford County for public land acquisition. So we try really, really hard to find other people's money and bring it here to Harford County. We also do limited advocacy, and really a lot of that stems in education. Sometimes I joke that I really wish I worked for the library or the Humane Society, a mission that was so readily understandable and tangible. It oftentimes takes a lot of conversation to explain to people why it is done, what the broader benefits are, and how it relates to the community. And partnership, of course. We can't do this alone. It's partnering with community groups, other nonprofits, government agencies. We're talking about big amounts of money here, and we certainly cannot mobilize the momentum and the funding without partnerships. Okay.
Oops.
Is this coming up? Okay. This is 30 seconds. It's not long. This is, will kind of give you a flavor of what this new park looks like. Let me make that, oops. If I can make it work, bear with me.
I'm actually playing on the live stream, so hang on, let me get it up here real quick. And then we'll see if it works on there.
If not, it's okay. I'll send it around.
Okay. I mean, is there a mouse?
No, just the keypad there.
Let's try this.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Where you can learn more than you ever wanted to know about that property. So now where is this? So those of you familiar with the area, the south side here is the road, and you can see Joppatowne High School sort of across the road. The property is slightly irregular in shape. As I noted previously, it's in that video, it's 129 acres. It is directly adjacent to the north to the new Ridgely's Reserve development. So presumably they'll be able to walk right into the park. To the south, it is adjacent to Robert Copenhaver Park also, and then you can see Joppatowne Road there to the eastern side of it. Does everyone know where we're talking about here? Mm-hmm. Okay, continuing on. All right, so a little bit about this property. So the former owners did cobble this together from smaller properties over the past about 20 years. Which does just demonstrate how buying large pieces of property in the developed area of the county is very precarious and rare. So we are lucky that this family did some of that work for us, but again, it took 20 years to amass this much land. They had previously subdivided it, so all of those little squares are actually platted lots. They're basically shovel ready when we started talking to this landowner. They then actually did have preliminary plan approval to add additional lots for a total of 265 single-family homes. This was the better part of 3 years of engagement with this particular landowner. It was 2 families that owned this. I will give them a lot of credit in that most of the time the Harford Land Trust is met with closed doors and no's, and they were very willing to engage early on. We do deal with landowners who are voluntarily talking with us. We get a lot of questions about, why didn't you go after this property or that property? Well, frankly, usually different landowners just don't want to talk with us. But in this case, we had a good rapport. They were sort of interested. They really bought into the community park. And then that's where the hard work began of starting appraisals, finding funding, finding the partnerships for this. But again, this one took about 3 years, which is really pretty short for the land trust. Most of the times, a lot of our engagement with landowners takes much, much longer than that. It was acquired for $8.6 million just this January. And to give you an idea of the breakdown on that funding, $500,000 of that came through the Harford Land Trust from a partnership we have with Aberdeen Proving Ground. So that was federal money. Just under $8 million of it came from Maryland Program Open Space, so that was state tax revenue, specially set aside for the purchase of parkland and land preservation. And then a very small amount, about $300,000, came from the county government, and that was really just by virtue of needing to reserve a very small piece for a possible future sewer line along the north, which is consistent with the master plan. So great news story that this was a lot of money that would not have otherwise been here in Harford County. There's two main property. So this cutout is the northern section, which is on the west side of Foster Branch Stream. Trimble Road is right there to the south of it. This property is actually permanently preserved with a conservation easement, and that easement specifies that this northern section is what we're calling the active recreation area. It's about 42 acres, but if you can see, I'm just gonna point here on the screen. This is the stream right here, and there's a lot of floodplain and things like that. So it's not 42 acres of land that would be developed. And really, based on this impervious surface limitation, we're looking at maybe 13 acres that the Parks and Rec system now has to develop for what I'll call active recreation. And there's a list here. Those are things like parking and access, any structures that would be needed, playing fields. I know that some people have questioned, could you do farming? Really only in a limited capacity as it relates to community recreation and education. And it's quite flat here. This was the former area of a farm that sold produce, and I asked around Gloria and others. Nobody knew the name of it. I'd love to know that if anybody here knows it. But this is very flat for active recreation. The other portion of it here, which is on the south side, this is to the east of Foster Branch, is the passive recreation area. When we talk about passive recreation, that means really low impact things like walking, more natural setting types of things, and there is a 1% impervious surface limitation, which is quite small. So that could be, for example, maybe a paved walking path along the sewer line for people that maybe have limited mobility, strollers, elderly, things like that. Okay. Since we're the Land Trust, I can't let this time pass without briefly talking about the ecological significance of this site. For us, this was such a home run because not only is this extremely important to the community for its location and its potential, but this is one of the rarest natural sites in all of Harford County. It lies right on a fault line between our coastal plain area and our Piedmont area, meaning the geology is extremely unique. It's a regionally rare coastal plain acidic seepage bog, which probably means nothing to all of you, but if you walk out there, you see pitch pine, you see rock oak, you see magnolia, you feel like you're in the New Jersey Pine Barrens. It is very different than anything else, so it's going to be a treasure trove of educational opportunities for everyone that goes out there. And we're already in discussions with the state of Maryland to get some of their biologists and other scientists out there to really study and see what is there. I'm going to move on now quickly to the Edgewood area. So a lot of people don't know that we have done a ton of work in Edgewood. This map here is an aerial map. So let's see here. That is Otter Point Creek there, kind of going through it. The big yellow and green logo is the Isaac Walton League. They own the Bosley Conservancy there. But you can also see other properties. This one, this we preserved and then sold it to the county. This we preserved and then sold it to the Isaac Walton League. We still own all of this with Willoughby Beach Road cutting through it, and then this is Flying Point Park. So there is actually a lot of permanently preserved land in Edgewood here, and all except for Flying Point Park, we have some level of easement on to ensure its permanent preservation. A lot of people have questioned me, who is the Isaac Walton League? Because they're some of your neighbors, so I just want to give them a little plug. A nonprofit partner of ours. They've been around, their chapter in Harford County since the 50s. Do get to know them because on Willoughby Beach Road here, what we call the Welsenbach Farm, which used to be the old Edgewood Dairy, they are now planning to build what they're calling the Conservation and Education Center there, which is both going to be their chapter house. There's going to be a laboratory in there, some meeting space. They're very excited about engaging with the different schools right there on Willoughby Beach Road to do different programming. Possibly things like a kayak launch, a community garden, other things like that. Again, as a nonprofit just like us, things move slowly. They're trying to raise the money for this, but they are very deep into the planning process and permitting process for this new facility there on Willoughby Beach Road.
That's about 90 some acres.
Correct, and they own half of it and the county owns half. Right. Yep. Just a little plug, if you want to learn more about our work and what we do have a website. We're on Facebook and Instagram. We have an electronic e-news. We are a membership-based nonprofit. Any amount of money makes you a member. You'll start getting material from us. And we have an annual meeting coming up actually this weekend. That is open to the general public. It's in Havre de Grace, but what is interesting about this is that we've spent the better part of a year writing a report called The State of Land Preservation in Harford County that we'll be launching, so you'll receive a copy at this event. And we have a panel of regional, state, and local experts talking about this. So you'll get more than you ever wanted to know about the history of land preservation in Harford County, why this has come to be, the different players, how this relates to different zoning tools, and where we need to go in the future. I think that's it.
Can you put the Edgewood piece up there? I'd like to talk about a couple of pieces.
Yes.
Right there, at first, if you look at the two pieces of property she's talking about, that the county owns one and the league owns the other one, that's going to be a combination park for everyone in Edgewood. And if you look at the Willoughby Beach Road is on this side of that.
Correct. Willoughby Beach Road is on the south side,
yeah,
right here.
Right there.
It goes here.
And you look straight down up that to the water.
And then it goes.
So we're
No,
looking
it
at
goes down to Willoughby Beach.
yeah, I'll talk about that part in a second. That goes all the way down to the water, and so they're talking about having water. And we got a gentleman here that deals with a lot of that stuff. He'll probably speak a little later about all the things you put in the water. You walk with the paddles and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
He does a lot of that. Done a lot of it in Joppatowne. He's got a couple of things to talk about. The other part of that, where you see the Harford Land Trust seal over on the right, and you can see those red lines there, that's Willoughby Beach Road. And that part right there, we're working with Harford Land now, trying to get a bicycle path and a walk path on the left-hand side there. Because right now, that road is very narrow, and it kind of winds there. Don't quite see it because of the seals there. But the problem there right now is that it is a real hazard for kids and anybody who wants to go down to the marina and the park, which is, you see the seal, the Harford County seal way at the top. They can't get to that park. That's a mile stretch from where those two red lines come together to where they part down the other end, and then you go left all the way down. So we're trying to get a bicycle path and a walk path on the left-hand side there.
Right hand side, right hand.
Pardon?
We're on right hand side, right?
Well, we're trying to get the left, but I understand,
Yeah,
you can't get the.
Yeah, there are some easement restrictions from the state, so it's on the right.
Well, I know we have some restrictions that it may wind up on the right, but I was trying, because I didn't want the kids to have to cross the street twice.
Yeah, there are
versus
some
crossing at
sensitive
all.
wetlands on the left, so it
Yeah.
won't be possible on the left.
So if we get it on the left, that'll be a big accomplishment. And then when you come down, then we got Baltimore Gas Electric owns that part all the way down to the park. And we need to get the same thing done there. Because right now, for them kids, and anybody, not even kids, but adults, anybody who wants to get down that park without a car has to walk right in the middle of the street. And we've had some real close problems of people getting hit, and so we're hoping to get that done. I remember last year I went down there to an event, and as I'm driving down the street, that street right where that Harford Land Trust is, there was a woman pass with a carriage with her baby in it, and another 4 or 5-year-old walking alongside of her, and they were right in the middle of the road, and there was no other place for them to go. So it's very important if we can get that done as soon as possible. I'm working with Harford County, and we're all on the same page. Just we got to get the shovel in the ground.
Questions, Phil?
First of all, thank you and congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Second, from your, like I
Sorry,
said,
time's up, Dion used up all the time.
I walk what I call the sewer line in
Yep.
that property. It's, runs the whole length of the property.
It does.
It's turning into a dirt bike track, which means it's no longer gonna be, they planted grasses, it was
Yep.
on the old pictures, yellow.
Yep.
Clay, and they planted grasses and the grasses are going, so we need to plan fairly quickly to keep the water the sediment.
I think
know that's
Terry's
not-
here as the new owner of the property to talk about
I
that.
know we had dirt bikes in there. I know we took care of the problem with the
Yeah.
field where we put some drainage in, 'cause
Yeah.
the field was flooding. We did take care of that, but no, I wasn't aware of that, but we will certainly address that.
Yeah, and I don't know how much clearance you need for a sewer line, but it's like a super highway wide.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, on
we
that,
probably
just
need to get some new trees back in there.
yeah, just so everybody knows, the former owner, when they were planning to develop it, they permitted the sewer line to traverse it because they were going to use it,
Right,
presumably.
yeah.
It is a very wide clearing, and it was taken down to dirt, so it does need to revegetate around it. So yes, there is management required. I will say that the former owner did not do any active management of the site. So a question we sometimes get is it open for access now? You know, definitely not for dirt bikes, it's not open, but even for people that want to walk around. And the answer is no. There is a variety of management things that need to occur on it, stabilizing that area where the old home site is. So yes, you are absolutely right. It is very hard to influence things when you don't own it. So the county's now owned it for just over a month. But I would say Terry and that team are your people in terms of knowing what needs to be. And yeah, it's we are sad that the sewer line is there. It would have been better if it wasn't, but we're gonna make lemonade out of lemons and try to make it a useful walking area.
Yeah, and just on the same point, the reason I walked up was because I was gonna go up and check out Foster's Ridge,
Uh-huh.
to find out if there's still a lot of water coming off it.
Yeah.
The good news was, there was an inspector there, so I didn't need to do that. He said that they would arrest me anyway. Not the inspector, the property. But he said at the time, the water running out of Foster's Ridge was clean. I have to say, the water today running out of Foster Branch, the Joppatowne Road branch was clean, the other one wasn't. I don't know if that's because of the sewer line or because of Foster Bridge. I didn't get up there yet.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
I don't know if they're
hey,
called
Bill,
out.
real quick, cause yeah, the dirt bikes are a problem, but one of the things I would suggest, whenever we're up there, Lions or even football, that's not a problem because of all the cars up there. One of the things I would suggest is that people start utilizing that park. Get up there, park up there, even if it's just to go up there and have a picnic. People see cars up there, they're gonna shy away from it.
We're putting a new bridge in up there, by the way, to the park. That's already done and approved, so just so you know.
Any other
Awesome.
questions? Okay. Kristin,
Good stuff. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Progress.
Mm-hmm.
Did a great job.
Oh.
5 minutes ahead of time, Dion.
Okay, yeah, and my communication information is on
No
this
more
press
ads.
release.
Be quiet.
Please
Now
feel
we
free
know
to
why
call
you're
me if you
living
have other
treasure.
questions.
one more time.
Got no money.
Set the timer here, please, Dion.
All right, for those who don't know, this
Thank you,
is
sir.
Terry Hanley, and he is the deputy director of Parks and Rec. And he's gonna answer the second half of this.
Perfect, I'll get started here. First, thank you so much for having me here, I do appreciate it. Great crowd here, great to see so many people involved in the community. I will say this though, with Kristin, she candy coated that's easy what she does. I will tell you firsthand, she's tenacious as hell, she's a smart lady, and she's so passionate about what she does, and she's been an excellent partner with Harford County, there's no doubt about it. So I want to thank you for what you do. The best part about it is, that is in the development envelope. You know, historically, Parks and Rec acquires property that's not in the development envelope, and you don't have water and sewer. So that's another nice thing about it. And of course, 265 homes now is going to be open space for the people in the community. So I think it's just a win-win for everybody in the county. I want to start out too. Yes, I'm Terry Hanley. I'm the Harford County Parks and Rec Deputy Director. I also want to acknowledge, I'm sure you are aware, the Castle administration had started a Southern County Task Force, and Rob Wagner's here, Jonathan Foster's here, Joe Slivska's here, and I will commend the county executive. It hasn't been all words. I think you folks have seen there's been a lot of action from this administration for the Route 40 corridor, and you will continue to see that. So I just wanted to put that out there real quick. Number two, Dion Guthrie, he is the champion for the people. We've gotten a lot done. Mariner Point Park, you know, we paved that, we did new curbing. We put, the new Mariner Man is up, Dan, I don't know if you saw that yet or not, but we definitely have a focus on what's going on in the Joppatowne community.
Pay the Rumsey Island.
Yes, yeah, that's all done, so putting a new bridge in over to Robert Kipling Park. Just touching on Foster Branch as well, you know, obviously Kristin did a great job covering that. So, also too, and we're looking at, where did I get to? I'm sorry. The pavilions down there at First Mariner Park, we're looking now, Councilman Guthrie brought it to us, our attention about putting some power down there. So that you can have bigger events, larger events, entertainment, lights, music in the park, and that type of stuff. We want to definitely try and draw more attractions to that park and bring more people there. Sad news is, we did find out that Oasis is pulling out of Joppatowne. That's not a good thing for our community. And that being said too, I was contacted by, and I hope you're okay with me introducing you, Hal. Hal's over here. Hal Ashman is the owner of Ultimate Water Sports Marina. And if you have time, look at what he's done in that community.
Absolutely.
With schools, communities, camps, groups, and all. And we don't want to lose him in Harford County. So he had reached out to me today, as well as Councilman Guthrie, what we can do to retain and make sure that we keep him in that Joppatowne community, because I think it's big. I think it's good for the kids, it's good for the schools, it's good for the community. So I just wanted you to know that we're going to be working with him as county government, trying to retain and keep him in Harford County.
Good.
Just wanted to put that out there so there's no surprises or anybody thinks it's something. Joppatowne, we hired Jose. I don't know if anybody's met him. I know Dexter's here. Dexter's here, the president of Harford County Park. Thank you, Dexter. I will tell you this right now too, registrations, we've started new programs in Edgewood with soccer, baseball programs, registrations are up. One of the things that we've looked at pretty strongly in Harford County is Edgewood right now has the largest amount of youth in Harford County, but sometimes with the least amount of participation in Parks and Rec. And we are really, really looking hard and trying to figure out how to get more of these kids involved. So that's something that we're seriously focused on, and we're gonna work extremely hard to make sure that we can bring those numbers up and participate as a county government as well to see and lend a helping hand. So that's going on as well. As you know, I'm sure everybody's excited about a community center. That is gonna happen. That is first foremost on the county executive's agenda. It's no doubt it's gonna happen. So again, the site, I will say this, that they did go to the Board of Education and looked at the Joppatowne High School, which they approved that site. So currently as it is today, that is approved for it. Again, as well, you know, we have Foster Branch. So right now, the community center is a go. Exactly where it's going to go, that's, you know, we've got to get that figured out. Right now it is approved with the high school. So we'll see where it goes, but I can assure you that it is on the fast track to make sure that we get that completed.
Are we still gonna have groundbreaking before the end of the year?
I don't think that's gonna happen. No, that definitely won't happen. So, not you know, probably it'll be in the budget for next year for all the planning and design and all that. So,
Just the fact that it's
it's on the agenda. So it's already got some money in the budget for design and engineer.
I was
So
just gonna say, yeah.
Aberdeen gets completed and Joppatowne, of course, is next. So I know it's a long time coming and a long time overdue, but it is coming. There's no
You see how
doubt.
many years we've been talking about a community
How long you been
center?
talking about that, Gloria? Too
His
long to
first
talk.
term, I think.
Yeah,
I know.
Right, when he was 50.
Yeah.
Oh,
when I was 50.
and I forgot as well, and I apologize. Patrick Bright from DNR, actually I got the email today, and it was brought to my attention right on the other side of Route 40. Adam, help me out here. How many acres is that again? I can't remember.
Which one?
The Gunpowder Park that's in Harford County.
Well,
Is it
the
98
part,
acres or?
I mean, the part that we're talking about is
Roughly
20,
150. So
Yeah.
If you get the three behind, that,
Cordish's
Cordish,
property. Yeah,
exactly.
it would be 150 if Cordish allows us on his land. But the part that we're needing access to is like 22, I think.
huh?
The
Most of it on Shore Drive.
22 is the part that we're
22 is
asking.
the Cordish, and about 130 roughly is
Okay.
Gunpowder State Park.
Gunpowder State Park, exactly. I did reach out to him. I finally did get a hold of the decision makers. There were some different changes in DNR within the state. But basically, I got the email today, as we discussed, the Maryland Park Service is open to the possibility of leasing park property in Joppatowne to Harford County Parks and Rec. Should we determine that doing so would be mutual benefit to our respective agencies, and especially to our constituents. So
I got a
this
whole
is,
crew
I'm
ready
working
to
on
start
this
right
now. I
now.
guess the folks in Joppatowne will be okay with that, I would think, so.
Yeah.
So that's something that's going on now. It's actually, with the bureaucracy that we deal with sometimes, this went much smoother and much quicker than what I thought. So I will keep you posted on this as well, and this is on the agenda too. And that's all I have. Yes, ma'am.
Questions?
I don't know. No, I do know. What all I'm hearing is you spoke about the bulk of the young people being in Edgewood, but I thought I heard everything in Joppa and Abingdon or Abingdon. Yeah,
Aberdeen?
yeah.
No,
So
Aberdeen.
if
in
it's,
the Spark
if
Bar.
you have the bulk of them in Edgewood, where are the resources in Edgewood? Where's the community center for Edgewood, big enough to house?
accommodate
The
that.
common.
Right.
Yeah. And my main thing is registrations with, you know, basketball, baseball, sports and those type of things.
Okay, well, we
And
need
soccer as
something
well,
in
which-
Edgewood.
I mean, we want to build those programs.
Yeah, but it needs to be so what do we bus them into the other, or the parents have to get them into Joppa? Are they welcome there, or into these other areas? I mean, where in Edgewood are we talking about planting something for the young people here? I don't have young people, but I'm about. I mean, because they're all over, they're running around.
Right.
So where do we?
And we
have
know that's
something for them
problematic
here?
as well, because it's, again, you know, most people now, you have both parents that are working, transportation's an issue in this as well. So that's something that we're looking at as well, with logistics of where you can position some of the fields and some of these parks, so, yes.
And real quick, just a shout out to the Boys and Girls Club. Bon Tom and I are on the advocacy committee for this, so I'm going to advocate for them. They have great programs that are going to have access to those mine as well, so those would be a great spot to send some of those kids.
And I,
But that hasn't even been, that.
And Terry, tell them about Nuttall
We're
Avenue.
talking about.
Nuttall Avenue, the new park.
Nuttall Avenue, yeah, Nuttall Avenue
One at a
Park.
time.
I have a question too.
Yes, ma'am.
About, I see the, rec center in Edgewood, I've seen the one, and Edgewood, just like you said, has the majority of the children, and this thing is tiny. This is tiny, it's not access for everybody. I don't even know what they were thinking about when they built it, cause it's nowhere near big enough to accommodate the area.
Well, keep in mind too, with rec council programs as well, we do utilize the elementary schools, the middle schools, and the high schools. So we do have a good partnership with, the Board of Education as well to utilize those facilities, which we do throughout the county.
But we like one like building in Joppatowne.
Yes, ma'am. I can't promise we'll do that tomorrow, but we'll.
Hang on a second,
Down you got one.
Hi, sir. I'm with the Joppatowne Rec Program. I'm the co-chair of the soccer program.
Thank you.
You mentioned that the Southern Task Force is pouring money into Edgewood, but Joppatowne has had rec programs for the last 40+ years. Is the Southern Task Force going to pour any money into the existing programs that are providing rec sports to the Joppatowne and Edgewood area?
I'm sorry I left you out, of course. Joppatowne is certainly included in that, and you can verify that with Mr. Guthrie as well. We took care of some lighting issues. We took care of some drainage issues over the field. So yes, I apologize for leaving Joppatowne out. That is, the 40 corridor is the 40 corridor, and we're focused on all of that.
And in addition to, you mentioned that we have partnerships with the schools and we use the schools' facilities. We've been receiving a lot of kickback for years.
I apologize to you because Joppatowne is the only rec council that doesn't have their own fields, other than
Correct.
Right.
Copenhagen
Except for the
Field.
football
So,
field,
you know,
right.
that's why we have the new park, of course, is what we're gonna work on to get some fields for you folks
There
down
is
there.
persistent blackout dates that we're often not communicating. So
I
I
know.
have the track program right next to me. Speak to the issues that they run into. But with swimming, we're persistently told, especially during the summertime, we can't use the school. They block us. There's been little to no communication from the school system. So unfortunately, we don't have a good partnership with the school system.
That's not good. Yes, sir.
Hang on. Let me take the question back here first, then go ahead, ma'am.
When I was talking to you, you said the bulk of the children are in Edgewood, and I know I see them destructing everything every day. What about well, that's a whole nother story. But what about those fields, you have empty fields there, right on Edgewater Drive. I see the baseball bases, but there's never any activity there. And like she was saying, yeah, it's good to have the stuff at Joppa, but one of the things that they were complaining about in September, on September the 7th, to the county executive, was the fact of transportation and stuff. If you're gonna redo that park and widen the track and everything, why not make those fields active again so that you can have some activity? Because something has to be done down there to engage those children. We had an incident last summer, they setting off firecrackers in between parked cars and stuff. Oh my goodness, me and the one sheriff was like, what are they thinking? Yeah, but there's nothing there for them. You have to bridge that gap. They're not gonna go to Joppa or wherever. They'll do what's right there, but if we aren't offering them anything.
And as I say, we right now, our registrations are
No,
up.
somebody don't have it because the district manager of the Dollar Trees is trying to close up the stores. He's cutting the hours back to 9 o'clock. They're tired of the kids coming in there, busting stuff up and stealing. We have to bring something directly to them, else you're gonna lose more economic to the county.
Adam?
I have a couple comments from people. One person says, this is Miss Beerley. The current nine volunteer staff programs require indoor three-court gym with multi-purpose lines and divider walls, fitness gym with training, a separate gym space for indoor track, outdoor track, and a multi-purpose field, storage for JRC equipment for each program, concession space for outdoor games and outdoor track meets. Our current programs are soccer, field, cheer, badminton, baseball, softball, senior softball, wrestling, swim, basketball, track and field, and growth with our own space would be to add lacrosse, dance, indoor soccer arena, volleyball, gymnastics, first robotics, or another STEM community group. We have lots to enrich the children for their upbringing. Then I have another person, Heather Mullis, who's asking if there's going to be cameras on the trails for safety and if it's going to be accessible for disability purposes, and will we be able to have parties at the park? And I know that that's not all of you, but I'm just passing that on. So
Perfect, thank you.
Did you get all that?
If you could send that to me, I would be happy to respond to that.
I had a feeling that my phone wouldn't stop buzzing if I didn't
That's fine, no,
mention
but I'll certainly respond to it, so, thank you.
Okay, the gentleman back here?
Yes, sir.
Two quick questions. First of all, thank you all very much for the work you've done down there in Maryland Point Park.
Yes, sir.
We've noticed some trees down there that look like they're getting ready to go. They're close to the walking paths. You might want to take a look at it so we don't have, people walking and getting hit by them.
I'll have maintenance down there this week.
Second thing is the pond that they have in the center section that's fenced off. We understand that's where dredging is supposed to go. However, would it be feasible to fill that pond up a little more, stock it, and put it in for like some serious freshwater fishing?
I can look into that for you, as right now that's above my pay grade, but I'll look at it for you. And two, for this community as well, I think,
It's lot to hear.
and for this community as well, we know that you had a severe problem with stormwater runoff. It was a serious issue, and you saw the administration fine them heavily. Put stop work orders on it till we abated that problem, so.
This week.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a question back here.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I miss somebody?
I don't know, I didn't have a question, I was gonna state it. I can state it.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I didn't, go ahead, you had something to say?
There's a buoy, of course. You should share the story with everything, because it's a fascinating story. The buoy that was in the Chesapeake Bay that actually broke
He
loose.
only has 10 minutes when he gets to
I
speak.
know, but yeah, I'll let you finish up on it. The buoy broke loose, went all the way across the pond, to England, I believe. They returned it back. It is in Joppatowne, and it is desperate need of some paint. So we're gonna get Deanna a paintbrush. But anyhow, we are gonna work on that to figure out, Deanna, we're gonna look at that to see what we need
Listen,
to
I
do.
helped painting the bridge.
And this, I'm sorry, we had someone had a comment back there. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, yes, hi, my name is Sheree Mitchell, community member. I've been in this community for over 41 years, and I just sitting here listening in the room. I know we talk about this is in Joppatowne, this is in Edgewood. First, I want to say thank you to everybody that's part of this meeting, that's on this board, because I know y'all paved the way for those to come and why we're all still here. The one thing that I hear is just because it's in Joppatowne, or just because it's in Edgewood, I grew up where I lived in Edgewood, but I graduated from Joppatowne High School. That was one community for me, and I'm hearing a divide and a split for the community. So I feel like it's a win for the whole district, whether you build it in Joppatowne or you build it in Edgewood. And as far as the lady was saying, as far as like Edgewood may have the most population, there's plenty of resources out there. It's just a way of how can we get the kids to be a part of it. Like I said, the economics and the situation in the households have changed, so your parents are not as able to take you to this. And this is where the community then stands out. And we have to do, like, we're volunteering to come in here and be a part of the meeting, but then it's the volunteering part of being part of the work. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not taking discredit for anybody because I don't know what work anyone does on a voluntary basis. But it's, if you build this parks and rec in Joppatowne, my children were in Edgewood, we're gonna go to Joppatowne. We go to Flying Point, we go to Marin Point. You know, I just see like, sometimes when I come into these meetings, like we miss the point that we're all one community. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's Joppatowne, Edgewood, like it's one community, because the biggest divide as for us right now is the school system. Is because half of Edgewood is going to Joppatowne, the other half is going to Edgewood High School. And it's like, but the kids that get to experience, they have a more enriched life. So we gotta look at it. I know we have a little community center off of Brookside Drive. You know what I'm saying? The Boys and Girls Club is not what it was when I was growing up. You know, however, if they build community center, is it solely for Joppatowne? You know what I'm saying?
No.
No.
Anybody
That's
can
why
go to
it's a
any
win.
community
That's what I'm saying.
center
It'll be a
in the
win-win
county.
for both sides. So just to hear the rhetoric of, well, we have this in Edgewood, the population's here, the thing would be is transportation. You know what I'm saying? So forget where it's built, just how can we get the kids there? How can we get the community involved and to be a part? And that's all I'm saying.
Thank you, ma'am.
Coming from Joppatowne rec and track and field, you know, right now, the Joppatowne track and field is the only track and field rec team in Harford County right now. And we get kids from everywhere. So we do summer, and I agree with what that is. And so again, making sure that when this particular facility is built, that we actually make sure we have the services there that the communities need.
Yes.
Because people will travel if it's available.
We are Harford County.
I was just gonna say, just look around the room, okay? You're absolutely correct. We are one. Okay? There is no division about, I'm sorry, I can't talk to you from Edgewood, I'm sorry, you're from Joppatowne. We are one. We are District A, period. B.
Can I ask?
A and B. We're A and B, period. How could you? Yes, sir. And then I'll get
Very
to you.
small part, but we'll
I'm sorry, sir, go ahead.
What she was saying about Joppatowne School track and field. So I'm Dexter Jennings, I'm the president for Edgewood. So we're getting ready to start up a track and field with Edgewood also now.
Good.
So hopefully that will take away, I won't say take away, but help out the community in Joppatowne also to bring some of the kids there. So that's what we're looking at. We just looking to start doing that. So hopefully we have a program started up this year.
One more question and then we'll move on.
No, just a comment, because I'm also with the Joppatowne Rec Council and president of the Lions Club. But one of the things in Dexter, I'm sure you've seen this as well, and we see it in Joppatowne, is getting volunteers into the programs, not the kids. It's getting adults, and that's a big problem that we actually have to fix as well. We need to get more adults involved. How many times are you always looking for coaches?
Always.
Yeah, and we do it too. It's not just getting the kids involved. The parents have to get involved as well.
Okay.
What happened?
All right, the last one, because then we have to move on. Go ahead.
If also too, if we can, at the football field out there for Cotton Field, you know, personnel are getting older and coming out to see the kids play, grandkids, great-grandkids. Is there any way that we can get a paved street go around for the handicap, so they can get out to the fields.
The Cunyon Fields?
Yes, sir.
That's a good idea.
What you know where Cunyon
That's a
Field?
big problem.
Where it is. We're looking to do some improvements over there now.
Where do you want that?
Around both of the fields, you know, so from the parking lot, coming out, so they can get out if it's raining or muddy or whatever. Because what happens is it becomes a hardship for the people trying to get there, especially if they are handicapped.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got that on your list?
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
And that paintbrush should be on.
Oh my God, I know. Keep them busy.
Do you want to add anything for the Southern County Task Force to piggyback on any of this?
Piggyback on some of that, I think it was already said earlier that Harford County hired someone there at the Brookside Drive Rec Center specifically for trying to stimulate some participation in that Edgewood area. Copper Mine came up earlier. Copper Mine's opening this weekend with its first sort of a soft opening. It's a smaller tournament, but it is opening this weekend, so the roads around the Copper Mine facility could see some extra traffic volume this weekend with that. Nuttall Avenue Park is well underway and should be completed probably by April. We've spent over $1 million on that particular park, and if you haven't seen it, be sure to go by and look at it after it is completed and opened up. It's impressive. It has a Army theme to it with a little Army tank that they put in with slides and other equipment that they've got there that's geared to the history of the Edgewood facility that we have here for Aberdeen Proving Ground. Road repavings, we've got some of them coming up for some that were requested. It'll be spring and this fall and early next spring. We just applied for a tree grant to bring in some more trees down this way to beautify some of the areas. And this Saturday at the Edgewood Library, if you don't know it, we're going to be giving away Chromebooks to those that qualify, and the qualifications are very low. Anyone that's on any program pretty much can walk away with a Chromebook. So we're going to bring them down to the Edgewood Library on Saturday. It's 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And fill out the paperwork there, and you'll walk away with one if you qualify.
Excellent.
That's pretty neat.
You're gonna repave that parking lot there too.
Right. Yep, that's being repaved. It's being held up a little bit, or it was, because of the handicap accessibility, but it's on its way now to getting done.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Cynthia?
Yes, I don't have a report as such. Our meetings will be, the first one is tomorrow night, and then there'll be one on March 12th and March 19th. And I'm here representing President Vincenti, so if anyone has anything they would like me to take back to him, please signal.
Lenore, you're up. For those of you that are new to our meeting and this is your first time here, Lenore actually is our liaison to the county executive, so everything we talk, she brings information from them, and then whatever we talk about here, issues that we have, she takes back to Bob Casley.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Lenore.
Oh, there's my gentleman over there. We got you covered, don't worry. Good evening to everyone. And one of the things this evening that we've really stressed upon is communication, sharing information with one another for the progress of our communities, and that's a good thing. The county executive today, March the 4th, issued a letter to the county council outlining the potential impact of the council bill number 24-001, which would change existing law to allow detached accessory dwelling units occupied by non-relatives on residential zone property of an acre or more. The letter was in response to a request from the council for an analysis of the physical impact of the bill introduced by Councilman Aaron Penman. The letter reads as such: as amended, Bill 24-001 would immediately increase the allowed density on residentially zoned properties of an acre or more countrywide beyond what was originally permissible and intended. Without knowing how many existing future homeowners might put an accessory dwelling unit on their property, or when the challenge is to predict the public cost and revenue that undeveloped residential lots of 1+ acres in development envelope alone, plus many more outside of the development envelope. The scope of this challenge includes estimating added costs for schools, roads, emergency services, water and sewer infrastructure, government services, and public amenities such as libraries and parks. Roughly estimating the cost of each accessory dwelling unit for public schools alone. The letter states, for school operating costs based on current per pupil yield estimates, 1 ADU, which is the estimated dwelling cost, will yield 0.38 students. Based on the current local appropriation, Harford County government spends $8,494 per pupil, which is our state required maintenance effort. 1 ADU at a projected assessed value of $125K, with a resident earning the income of $43.5K, is estimated to generate $2,221 in property and income tax revenue. Therefore, each ADU creates an ongoing annual deficit of $1,007 for education just alone. On the capital side of education, based on state rate capacity and current cost per square foot for public schools, is prorated 0.38 student yield. That would require $33,611 in school construction costs alone. Each ADU could potentially generate $6,825 in a one-time revenue from impact fees and taxes. This deficit is $26,786 per ADU. The county executive's full letter you can find on the website for that. We want you to also recognize that March is Women's History Month, and the county executive's administration will be highlighting stories of local women who made history. Please help us share this inspiring stories on our Facebook page. Location for a new school, which will save taxpayers $50 million. The administration that the county executive has stated has reached an agreement to buy land in Bel Air for a combination of elementary school and the new home of Harford Academy, which serves students with severe disabilities. The 40-acre site on North Fountain Green Road, which is near 543, was to become Carson Run at Eva Mar, a continuing care retirement community. The private landowner halted that project 2 years ago, leaving the shell of a building that will be raised to make way for the new school. Because the property is served by public water and sewer, the state will help us pay for the new school, saving Harford taxpayers as much as $50 million. Go to our website to follow up on this information, which is www.harfordcountymd.gov/archive center. There will be a housing fair, and this was mentioned in last month's meeting. I have here for those that were not available at the last meeting. Excuse me, Dr. Robinson, would you share some of these, please? Thank you. The housing fair is March 23rd. Buying a home can be a challenge, especially for first-time home buyers. We all realize rentals are increasing. So what you're paying per rent is actually like a mortgage payment. We want to help to make this available free housing fair for first-time homeowners workshop. You must register. A flyer will circulate so you can get that information. We want you to understand the affordability and the cost and the credit, getting pre-approved for a mortgage, the purchasing process, and information on down payment and closing costs. The workshop will be held Saturday, March 23rd from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Epic Center located in Edgewood at 1918 Pulaski Highway. This is all free. So if you've never purchased a home before, this is your opportunity to do so. Veterans Corner. We know the county executive is for our veterans, and we cannot say enough about the Veterans Corner. The Veterans Service Organization makes the connection. Whether you're a veteran looking to connect with other veterans or interested in learning about veterans benefits, family programs, or a way to support your community, there's an organization nearby for you. Veterans Service Organization, which is VSO, are active in Harford County through schools, scouts, boy states, holiday events, and even more. Once again, we give reference to the website. Volunteers. We always need volunteers. Volunteers are needed, EMS and administrative support. If we would share this information as well. You want to start? Thank you. Volunteer fire companies need our help. Harford does not have a paid fire service. Instead, we rely entirely on volunteers companies located throughout our county. Volunteers are ages 16 plus are needed for every aspect of what they do, including administrative support. So please consider volunteering and joining a team of heroes that keeps us safe and saves lives in Harford County. And you heard me say age 16. Young men getting involved, giving back in the community. Age 16 is a great opportunity. If they have some idle time, direct them to the volunteer department. It's an extremely rewarding career. Requested Joppa Road closure was denied. In January, Maryland Transportation Authority, on behalf of CXX Rail Service, requested Harford County's permission to close Joppa Road on both sides of the railroad crossing in Joppa. After our investigations raised serious concerns that the closing would slow emergency vehicles' response time and impede general traffic circulation in that area, the county executive denied MTA's request, and the road will now remain open.
Amen.
Advocating through training facilities in Harford County. State officials are considering where to locate a Maryland thoroughbred training facility, and in a February 15th letter, decision makers and the county executive expressed full support to propose Mitchell Farm Training Center in Perryman as the ideal site. Given its planned state-of-the-art amenities for horses and trainers, flat and the lack of natural resource challenges, this location near Aberdeen received the highest ranking in a recent study of alternatives. As such, we look forward to a positive decision for our county and our state. This will also generate more revenue as well. Leave. The Harford County Code requires a comprehensive zoning review every 8 years, which allows property owners to request a change in their property existing zoning designation. Zoning determines a property's permitted uses and includes agricultural, residential, commercial, and industrial classifications. The county executive's administration is committed to a transparent process which will begin later this spring, and he encourages you to stay involved. Please go to what we have that's available so you can see what our county executive is doing to help each and every one of us, regardless of what county or jurisdiction you're living in. You heard earlier about laptops. You need a laptop. Harford County residents and veterans may qualify for a free laptop through the Maryland Connected Devices program to help low-income families connect to the internet. Distribution, the event is coming up. Would you share that as well, please? Thank you. And I believe Mr. Wagner also mentioned this earlier. Yes, Felicia Hopkins, yes.
Just real quick, this is a great opportunity, we said for 16-year-olds. I just looked at the site, and the flyer doesn't give an age range.
Speak up, Felicia.
We can't hear you, but I tell you what, let me finish this, Ms. Hopkins, Grant, and then you can give that information. The distribution event is going to be held Saturday, March the 9th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Edgewood Public Library, which is 629 Edgewood Road. Applications may be found online by going to, once again, www.harfordcountymd.gov/free laptops. Once again, applications may be found online at www.harfordcountymd.gov/free laptops. Applicants must bring proof of income, W-2, pay stubs, or proof of government assistance. Government assistance would mean if you're on a subsidized program or if you're getting SNAP, and proof of a Maryland residency to receive this laptop, which will be given out on site. For full eligibility requirements information, you may contact our office, which is 410-638-3045 for that information. Ms. Hopkins Grant, you want to give that?
It's not major, but it is important. You mentioned about the age limit for minimum for the young people to volunteer.
Yes.
And it should have something on the flyer that would draw them in. And then I looked on the site itself for them, and it needs to have something that is going to immediately say that the minimum age requirement is 16, and maybe a section about the benefit. I know that you don't directly deal with that.
But that's, you can look into that, which is a good comment to make. Put the age on there. It was given in the county executive's information, but if it's not on the flyer, it will make a difference, okay? It will enhance people. It will draw people to that particular flyer. So thank you for that, and I'll make sure that whatever individual created the flyer, that we can correct that. March 20th, we have legal aid advice. It's a clinic for Harford County seniors. We know some people are referred to legal aid on Hickory Avenue, which is 410-836-8202, but we do have a legal aid clinic that is available. It's a $5 fee. Would you share this as well? And believe it or not, I have one last flyer that we made it through all this information. It's not quite Tuesday morning yet. There was a lot to share with you. We have the Harford County Arbor Day, which is March 29th. More flyers coming around. March 29th at 10 a.m., the Harford Glen Environmental Education Center at 502 West Wheel Road, Bel Air. Tree plantings, displays, and other demonstrations are there. That's a lot of information. I'm sorry it took so long, but we want to share as much information that we can with you. The county executive wants to keep you informed either by announcements or either through the website. Thank you. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Lenore.
Hang on. Real quick. Yeah, I just, on the ADU, there's a map over there that lists over 500 one-acre units in this area that could possibly have those ADU units. So I brought it so everybody can go look at the map.
The bill will be withdrawn tomorrow night.
Well, okay, we'll wait and see what happens.
Will.
Okay, thank
Got
you
my
for
word.
that input. Yes, sir.
Can we get your report electronically so that we can share that with our listserv?
The information that was shared this evening,
Yes.
I can check with Mindy Monday about it, Cindy Monday
Okay.
about it, okay? So
It
we
should
can
be
do it
on our
that way.
website.
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
accessible.
Individual.
But it should be on the website,
Okay, well, I'll get it to you.
okay?
Okay.
All the information about it this evening is on the county website. The county executive is very transparent, so your information is readily available, okay? All right, thank you again.
All right, Ralph, you are really gonna be on your game now, because I'm gonna ask all of the rest of the guest speakers now to keep their time to 10 minutes, period.
How about we go 5?
No way.
I gotta work.
Hey, this guy.
Two.
Did you come here for information, or did you come here to run everybody out of the room? I mean, I don't understand. It's only once a month.
Ron, you're up.
Okay, thank you. I'll try to make it short, but there's a lot to talk about. Just want to tell you something. I've been preaching. I can't tell you how many times these two things do not mix together. Space heater and a power strip. We've had 6 fires in Harford County in February, to a total tune of about $1.25 million damage. 2 of the fires were caused by these faulty things here, and one had one of these plugged into one of these. Need I say more? I appreciate those of you that come here often. I talk about it all the time. $500,000 fire up in Harford Grace. We've had several since our last meeting here in the Edgewood Joppatowne area. And of course, we have one in Aberdeen also. The one in Aberdeen was a young, and we just honored her earlier this month. A young lady managed to save herself and her dog, 11 years old, knew what to do, got on the phone with 911, got out of the house, waited for emergency responders. She was home alone after school. The fire started in her bedroom. She was in the living room watching TV. Turned out to be the faulty wiring in the bedroom, one of her lamps. Girl was very bright, as much as she was crying, she was still very cool, calm, and collected. And I say that dispatcher that she spoke with, we could get all the information. She spelled her name. She did everything right. And how she carried this big pit bull out of the house, I don't know, because I couldn't lift them. We got to meet her earlier this month when we gave her an award up there at DES, and of course I gave her a fire prevention award. Another fire on Conowinga Road in Darlington started in the garage. It's still under investigation. The one on Hill Court in Harford Grace was a $500,000 home. Happens to be a friend of mine. I'm very upset about that. But again, space heater and a power strip. The other one on Hanson Road, which was just recently, on March 1st, it's still under investigation. It started in the garage. My guess, after talking to the fire marshal, it's probably going to be faulty in the garage somewhere with some things in the garage. I won't say any more than that because it's still under investigation and I can't give out that information. I got 2 flyers here that we can give out. Fire safety for older adults and their caregivers. This includes all of us in this room, including myself. Okay. Plus 7 ways you can reduce the risk of home and property damage during a wildfire. We're getting into that wildfire season after Mother Nature decides that spring's going to be here. I just want to say, we need to be very careful and very cautious in our homes as far as fire goes. Like I say, 6 fires is 6 fires too many, and that's just the month of February. Okay, we're just starting March, and we started off with one already up in on Hanson Road in Edgewood area. Okay, be very, very careful with what you're doing. These space heaters, again, do not plug them into anything but the wall. keep anything that's flammable, anything that can burn, clothing, toys, anything, at least 3 feet away from it. Now, the one up in Harford Grace, it happened, the power strip happened to be short out, and that's what caused the fire. The husband was upstairs sleeping, and his wife was in the day room watching TV. She fell asleep. The thing caught fire. There were some things there that caused it to spread, but the other problem with that fire up there in Harford Grace, they had solar panels on the roof. The solar panels exploded when the roof caught fire. The man said he will not put panels back on his new build when they rebuild. I mean, they will rebuild. There's no problem. I talk about solar panels. I tell you why I'm against them. I will not talk to anybody about putting solar panels on my house. If there's a fire, and this was a good example, and this has not just happened here, it's happened all over the country, these things can explode. They're very dangerous. Remember, your solar panels are power storage, like a storage battery. Just because the power's off, they are still producing energy. We put a hose on that, and that's going to have a big, big problem, because you're putting cold water on a hot piece of glass, basically, for all intents and purposes, okay? So he said he will not have solar panels because solar panels hindered the firefighters. One of them exploded and fell off, almost hit 2 firefighters as it exploded, and the glass was coming down. So this is why I'm against the solar panels on the roof of your homes. Yeah, they might save you money. And if there's a fire, though, forget it. You're going to lose your home. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's just no way around it. And one more thing, I'm putting on a different hat real quick here. Take a minute. Harford TV Foundation on Wednesday, March 13th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Harford Grace Cultural Center, Opera House. They're putting on a talk session called Facing Addiction in Harford County. I think this affects all of us down here. And being on the board of directors for the foundation, though, I'm very adamant about that. It's free, but you got to go online and get your ticket online from the Harford TV website or the Addiction Head website. And it's free. There's going to be free admission, but you do have to register a ticket to go, and there's going to be a thing, or things like that there, and people to talk about the real addiction. There's one lady that's going to be there who overcame addiction, who's a Harford County resident, and I believe there's another one, if I remember correctly, who's going to be there whose child overcame it. So it's a very important program. There's limited seating because the Opera House is very small. There are still a few tickets left, so I just wanted to bring that up and know about that. And if anybody wants any of these flyers, I will have them at the end of the meeting about as far as the caregivers and being safe in the house. I got to keep it short.
Just a comment, Mr. Ron.
Yes.
Last time you came to the West Shore community.
Yes.
But it was a few streets that said they did not get those smoke detectors, being Pirate Court, Starboard. So maybe you just say like the back end.
Like, I got to know what streets they are because when you put hang tags on every door that didn't answer.
Okay.
Okay,
And that 2 HOA people are here in charge of those communities.
okay, just give us the streets and we'll get back at it. But we did put the flyers on there. That may have been all. The other thing was with the we just did one in Edgewood Village this past weekend. And thanks for reminding me about that. About the sound the alarm. We installed 41 alarms in Edgewood Village, in probably about a 1 square mile area. That's a lot of alarms. And people that did not have working smoke alarms.
So we just gotta call the number?
Yeah. Just call the number and they'll get in touch with me and we'll set up a time to come in there again. We're going to be going back to Edgewood, or I shouldn't say we. This is a program with the Red Cross, and we are assisting the Red Cross. Okay, with this thing about sounding the alarm. Because of the fires we've had, had no working smoke alarms. There is no reason in this county not to have a working smoke alarm. And Lord alluded to some of this advertising you're seeing now with these the volunteers. The county executive has put quite a bit of money in. You're going to see billboards going up. You're going to see flyers. You're going to see stands like at voting time, putting up for the volunteers as well as smoke alarms throughout the county. The county executive is very much aware of this, especially in the southern half of Harford County. It seems to be where we have the biggest problem with no working smoke alarms. So please, there's no reason not to have a working smoke alarm in your home at this point. You do need it. Don't say I don't need it. And if you can afford them, go out and buy them. Your hardwired ones must stay hardwired. I cannot replace a hardwired one with a 10-year battery one. The hardwired ones all communicate with each other. So if one goes off, the rest of them will go off in the house and alert you. These battery operated ones are in addition to, or if you don't have a hardwired alarm system in your house. Okay, it's very important for you to have these in there. They do save lives, trust me. Every one of these fires, except for the one in Aberdeen, were saved by the smoke alarms going off.
Okay.
Okay, any questions for me? Thank you.
Jim, do you want to
Jim.
piggyback with your thing
Yeah,
real quick? Ralph, start
probably
his time.
as I can. Just for information, you know, the 2023 timeframe, Joppa Magnolia responded to 135 full box alarms, which means a structure fire that summons the Joppa apparatus as well as neighboring companies such as Kingsville and Abingdon. I don't have a report on the EMS calls, so I can't tell you about the ambulance and the PIs. That'll be available next week, just to give you an idea of the runs. That's about 11 full boxes a month, but just in the last week, we've had 3 in our area, full boxes. One up in Pleasant Hills, as well as the Joppatowne on Shore Drive, and then the Hanson Road. The spaces, we have a cadet program at Joppa Magnolia, and the County Volunteer Firemen's Association has a cadet program in the schools. If you have a junior, girl or boy, that's interested, they can sign up, and in their senior year, they'll get University of Maryland sponsored courses, EMT and firefighter 1 and 2, and hazmat. When they come out of that, if they hit 18 and they want to join a career department somewhere, they're about halfway through their education process. And that's no charge. That's all University of Maryland and the Fire Association. And Joppa's got a cadet program for the 12-year-old to the 16-year-olds that they meet once a month, and they learn some fire stuff and have some fun at the same time. And that's another activity for that. And there's scholarship money throughout. There's a Charlie Riley Scholarship here in the county that if you're a volunteer, and each company sends a representative, there's at least $1,000 scholarship towards education. The Cumberland Valley Volunteer Firemen's Association has a scholarship program, and the Maryland State Firemen's Association has a program as well. Just to give you an idea, so there's scholarship money while they're being active volunteers. All right, I'll cut it off there. And, thank you.
Okay. All right, Dion, you're up.
Okay, Penman's not here, so I'd like to introduce you to Hal Ashman. Okay, he changed some of his schedule tonight so he could be here tonight. And
I was gonna get him to say a few words after we were done with.
Pardon me?
I said I was gonna get him to say a few words after you were done with your
Well,
report.
let him go first, because then he'll cover some stuff that I won't have to cover.
Oh, well.
Got 5 minutes left.
Okay, you're up.
You have the floor, sir.
And welcome, I haven't seen you in a while, but it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Thank you to Councilman Guthrie, and thank you to Record Parks and Mr. Hanley for the invitation. I appreciate it. I'll be quick. My company is called Ultimate Water Sports. My name is Hal Ashman. I'm the owner. We're a family-run business. We're going into our 39th year in business, which is a miracle. I say that to my employees every year. I don't know how we're still around, but we're very happy 3 years ago to get an invitation from Oasis Marina to put a location, one of our locations, at the Oasis Marina in Joppatowne. But we're very sad, as of a couple of weeks ago, when we were told by Oasis that their landlord, which is Marine Max, a boat retailer, has decided to close the marina. Their words are permanently. We've heard that before, of course, but we're told that we need to move out of the marina as the drop dead date is May the 1st. So that gives us a couple of months to do one of two things. One, and it's our preference, is to find another suitable location in Harford County where we can do what we do best, which is provide water sports programs, specifically kayaking and paddling programs for youth groups, church groups, the school system, all different types of schools actually, from not just in Harford County, but from surrounding counties as well. Now, we have locations elsewhere outside of Harford County, but this location at the Oasis Marina was our first location in Harford County, and we were very pleased in the 3 years that we've operated there to be very, very busy, not just with Harford County residents and school programs, but also a lot of residents from outside of Harford County who heard about how beautiful this location is. And I'm assuming most everybody here is familiar with the marina, but so many people from outside of Harford County know nothing about Mariner Point Park and the beautiful waterways surrounding Mariner Point Park and the Gunpowder River. And when they would come up from as far as DC and Virginia, they were thrilled to see a geography and an environment that is really unique to the Chesapeake Bay. And so we would introduce them to the hundreds and hundreds of great blue heron and turtles and all the other wildlife that many of you are familiar with, but is new to a lot of people outside of Harford County. Naturally, we want to stay at the marina, but that does not look like it's an option. So I spoke to Councilman Guthrie today and to Mr. Hanley, and they were kind enough to invite me to just speak for a moment to talk about what we hope is a possibility for this season, and that is in order to remain in Harford County and not take that business location and bring it to Baltimore County, the possibility that we could work in parks so that we could take a year, this year, and simply move our operation from the marina right across the street, or actually across the fence line, to Mariner Point Park. Now, we're very familiar with Mariner Point Park because we've been fortunate enough to work with Rec and Parks over the past 3 years, so that a lot of our programs who launch from the marina, our paddlers, kids and adults, take advantage of the park itself during their paddling experience, and they love it, needless to say. It's an incredible park and an awesome natural resource. So what we would like to do is expand the nature of the agreement we currently have with Rec and Parks so that we could put our equipment and our operation right there in the park and operate out of the park. Now, the first question most people want to know is, what exactly do we do? And here's what we do. We provide instruction and lessons to all folks, young, not young, big, tall, every different kind of folks, in order to teach them how to do kayaking and other paddling programs. We do it at all levels. We do rentals. We do lots and lots of tours, eco tours, nature tours, sunset once a year, fireworks tours, which are really spectacular, as many of you know who live in the area. But more important than those things, those are the obvious things. What we do is we educate. We try to educate people to the environment. And when I heard the speaker from the Harford Land Trust speak, I thought so many collaborative opportunities I think could arise if we were able to stay in Harford County with not just the Land Trust, but so many other organizations that are here, and I see many of you here, who want to maintain the quality of life and the quality of the environment, or improve it by paying attention to the natural resources that surround us. And that's a big part of what we have done in our 39-year history, and what we would like to do here in Harford County. So I don't need to come across as a pitch. I don't want to pitch anybody on anything. I simply want you to know that we love Harford County. We love what you all have help us achieve at that location. We want to stay in Harford County. We don't want to move back to Baltimore County because we would really miss this place. And we would really miss Mariner Point Park and providing the experiences that we do, especially to the school groups and to so many kids and adults who don't otherwise have access to the water. We are an easy access to the water. We're not like buying a boat or even renting a boat. We don't cost a whole lot, and we love what we do. Our employees at that location are largely kids, youngsters who live and go to school in Harford County, and that's how we do what we do. Happy to answer any questions, and if you want to speak with me after, I'll be happy to stick around.
I'm Claire Taylor. I was just curious, where would you put your equipment in Mariner Point Park?
That's a great question, and hi, Claire. So the ideal spot, of course, would be right there adjacent to where Rec and Parks has already built a beautiful kayak launch. As you probably know, there's what they call a soft launch, which is kind of a tiny little beach where people who have their own kayaks launch every single day. And then right around the corner from that, where the boat ramps are, to the south side, is a very expensive underutilized kayak launch ramp. A lot of people don't know it's there. Because so many people who have been launching out of that soft beach just think that's the only option. So ideally, we would have our setup, our equipment, right there in that and help people who have their own gear launch and learn. A lot of them don't know what they're doing, they're newcomers. And also try to make it a safer experience for everybody who's accessing the water in that way. Because as many of you who are boaters know, it can be a tricky day for power boats and kayakers launching in the same general area. So a big part of what we do at other locations is try to educate both of those folks as to how to do it in the safest possible way. And there are very safe ways to do that. It just takes a little bit of help.
Now, you also we talked on the phone about the Edgewood Marine up there, that you were gonna talk to Phil.
Yes, and I've had a few conversations with the different marina owners around Edgewood and Bush River, from the Flying Point side to the Anita Light estuary side. And it seems that a lot of marina owners are looking to bring companies like us into the fold because they want to offer different amenities and different experiences that are lower cost than boating, as you know, is crazy high cost. But also, and I think more importantly, give more people access to water experiences, which these days I think we can all use, because being on water really changes the way your mind works, even if it's only momentarily, and it's just a really, really healthy way of getting away from it all. So that's really a lot of what we do at other locations, is promote access to water in not only the safest way, but in a way where you can really appreciate the natural resource. We want to continue to do that here.
Yes, sir. Do you do any outreach programs with veterans? Because I understand there are some veteran water sport things out there.
There are, and the National Park Service asked us if at Fort McHenry in Baltimore City, and we thought, well, that's crazy. What about the water quality? What about safety? You know, in a heavily commercialized boat traffic area. As it turns out, it was a great idea. We've been there for almost 10 years now, and we do a lot of veteran programs there because the fort and the National Park Service is very dedicated to getting more veterans on the water. In some cases, wounded veterans, in some cases not, but in many cases, it's not just the veterans that come to join us, but it's their families that come to join us. And what we have learned in the last decade is that the best thing we can do for veterans is connect them better to their own families, many of whom are not as connected as they would like to be, or as their families would like to be, for many, many different reasons, whether it's PTSD or otherwise. So we've created programs with the benefit of some really strong professionals working out of the Mount Washington Pediatric Hospital who focus on therapeutic recreation and the benefits of that. We would like to do that here as well.
Thank you so much, Hal. Well, everybody's,
Sorry,
let's
Dr.
keep
Khan.
them here in Harford County.
Yes.
I will say, that the very first year that he was here, he had a fantastic float in our Independence Day parade here in Joppa. I approached him and he had a fabulous float that was in our first parade. So let's keep him here in Harford County. All right, Theon, he took up most of your time.
No, that was Penman's time. He's not here. So. I'll go fast.
Just don't repeat what everybody else has already said.
Listen, I'll repeat what I've got to say, whether you like it or not. How's that?
Are there any more of your newsletters?
Yeah, pardon me?
Are there any more of your newsletters when you get one?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have one. We have one for
Yeah.
you. A couple things I was impressed by, that the fines are paying for the people who are passing the school buses. I figured a number out, that they collected $1,302,500 in those fines of people passing school buses. Can you imagine that? There's a couple things that, believe it or not, didn't make my newsletter. That's hard to believe in it. But these came in afterwards, and it's kind of important issues. One, we're dealing with the bridges, both at Edgewood and Joppatowne, that they're going to replace them along with all the railroad bridges from Baltimore to New York. And we talked about this before. The Gunpowder Bridge is going to cost $30 million to replace, and the Bush River is going to cost about $18 or $20 million to replace. It's cheaper because the bridge isn't as long. And you know, our argument is that finally they're gonna replace it after 125 years, raised higher. 125 years ago, all they had was rowboats. You know, you gotta understand, we got some bigger boats now. And it's one of the reasons Marine Max was, even though they were, I deal with them there, some of the people who run that operation, they got, you know, don't have a lot of brains, but they didn't even know, when I went down and called them about this bridge, they didn't even know that the bridges were going to be replaced, which is hard for me to believe. Anyway, you know, we've been talking to the senators about this, both Kristin Kirkwood and Ben Cardin. I've had meetings with both of them, and I just got an email which I'll share with you because we didn't have time to put it in the newsletter. It says the councilman started an earmark application through the application portal called OAM on February 3rd, 2024. That's me. Anyone who started the application was sent a email as a reminder. There's no contact with the application that was created, so I don't know if its intent is to request funding related to the bridges. On that note, I do have some briefing with Amtrak early today, and I do have an update on the Bush and the Gunpowder bridges. As you know, Amtrak recently received grant funding to initiate preliminary engineering, and they need PA review. Amtrak expects the preliminary engineering or any PA review to take a minimum of 2 years before they are able to get a preferred alignment and a record decision on each project. These two milestones are necessary before the projects are eligible for construction funds. The NEPA review phases is when Amtrak and their constituents will conduct a community outreach and a listening session related to these two projects. They indicate that they would begin late in 2024. While no design work has started, there are certain criteria that must be incorporated into whatever design is approved. I was assured by Amtrak during this briefing that one of the criteria for both bridges is that they must remove conflicts with maritime traffic. Amtrak indicated they are aware of the concerns related to the bridge height and are committed to communicating with impact communities about this and the issues that coming up during the NEPF review phase. I hope this information, I will respond to the councilman's concerns. Please feel free to reach out at any time. That's Debbie out of Chris Van Hollen's office. So we've got our, and we're going to keep the pressure on also. What I wanted, a couple of things. The two Johnsons introduced a bill in House Bill 1436 that, and I've been getting a lot of calls and emails on this, so I need to explain it because I don't want to pick on them, but this is a feel-good bill.
The paint tax.
Yeah, it's the incorporation of Edgewood. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm getting calls both ways because people who are in favor of Edgewood being incorporated like the bill, but they don't understand the bill. The people who don't favor incorporation don't like the bill because they think they're going to be incorporated because if they pass the law down there. This law that they have on the books to pass in Annapolis has absolutely nothing to do with Edgewood being incorporated. It's a feel-good bill to say, okay, we favor it, and you guys go do your thing. So, but people keep calling me, they think, well, we're going to be incorporated in this bill. But no, we're not going to be incorporated. No, neither one. To incorporate, now, I'll just give you a brief thing so we don't have to deal with this any longer. To incorporate, the first thing needs to be done. This is what the two Johnsons ought to do if they're so interested in Edgewood being incorporated. That they're only in Annapolis 3 months. They're 9 months out. They need to go in Edgewood and start going door to door and get signatures from people who want to be incorporated. Here's how it works. You take all the registered voters, and as soon as I could come in, you take all the registered voters in Edgewood in the 21040 zip code, and whether they're Republican, Democrat, or independent, they have to be registered voters. There's 17,071 voters in Edgewood. Of that, it takes 40% signatures to take that, those whatever they are, to the election board in Harford County for them to examine all the signatures to make sure they are appropriate. So it would take 6,828 at 40%, and just to do that. Now, of the 6,828, a lot of them won't be good. So what you really need, you're going to need about 8,000 signatures just to be on the safe side, because the election board will be throwing out a lot of names because they can't confirm that they're eligible voters. So after you and it goes to the election board, and they confirm that you got 6,828, that now comes to the county council. Now the they won't have a problem with the county council, will come to them, and now the county council has to vote on it, which I'm sure that they ain't gonna have any trouble approving if in fact you get all them signatures. County council approves it to put it on the ballot. Now it goes to Annapolis and gets on the ballot in the next election term for you to approve to be a municipality or not. The bill that's before Annapolis right now, 1436, you look it up if you want. I just want to tell you, so I'll stop getting these phone calls and emails. It has nothing to do with being a corporation. It's feel good and say we support it. Yes, ma'am.
So Dion, I really appreciate you bringing awareness to the municipality issue. One thing I can say for the Johnson & Johnson team is that I've actually seen them at more events within the last couple of years everywhere I go than I have you personally. And I remember when Andre was seated in the seat that you're sitting in right now, that all of us, and especially you, had an opportunity to be able to be present at a lot of things and events.
Listen, I go to a lot of events and they aren't there.
No,
okay?
So I'm not,
And
let
he's
me
on-
finish, Dion.
She's taking my time. She's taking my time.
Okay, but we're not gonna have
So-
any,
Well, then tell her to let me finish.
Dion,
just let her finish what she's
I
saying.
just wanna finish the one story, and I'm gonna preface this by saying, I come in peace, I really do, but we need to be able to do this. I don't, every time that I'm here, or I'm at an event, I never hear them throw you under the bus, even slightly.
I'm not throwing them under the bus. I'm a taxpayer, and I don't support the bill. And everybody here can support it. I don't do anything.
Let me finish.
Dion, let her finish her
I
comment.
would recommend that everybody that's inside this room look up that bill and see that there is a process to municipality. And so they did not go in there willy-nilly without knowing the process. So look up the process of what it means to be a municipality. The municipalities, for people that don't know, Aberdeen is a municipality. Bel Air is a municipality. Havre de Grace is a municipality. They have their own mayor, they have their own council, they have their own sheriff's department, they have their own fire department. Okay, I've heard arguments over the years, why or why not. But I feel as though that the momentum that we have right now, with people in the room that I have not seen before, and the fact that I'm looking at doers that are interested and in this room, I feel as though that people now have an ear to hear. Please look into the process, just like you took the time to come out tonight. And Dion, I do appreciate the work that you have done and that you're here right now. We want to give each and everything that is done, so we will not have any type of blurred lines of fair shake of people without having just be neutral about it. And all, because I feel as though the municipality would be a good thing for us to be able to put our stake in, because it's a sheriff's department. People say taxes, but I'm gonna tell you something. We pay taxes on more things than not other places. We will go and spend money and pay taxes in other places, okay? And then we're talking about transportation. I have to say there's two sides to this coin. Edgewood Rec, when you guys have a game, basketball, that place is filled. And I don't think that you had to ask people how they got there. So I feel as though people do what they want when they want. And then, yes, transportation is definitely an issue for some things, I get that. But I'm not gonna sit here and listen to the fact that this is being brought up again, and we've got momentum to be able to get this done. You know, we got Cherie Turner here, who has a following on Facebook of 10,000 plus individuals, okay? We've got people here that, Square, and from Melissa's district, and others that I have not seen before. And, we've got momentum to get this done. And also, please, I'm just saying, take time to do a little research and find out the process that's being taken place, that's all.
All right, let's finish, because we'd
First
like
off-
to get everybody out by 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
We have a few
First
more
off,
minutes to go.
I gave you the process.
Okay, just.
40% have to sign documents to send to us, and we approve it, and it's gotta go on the ballot.
Okay.
What happens in Annapolis matters not, what happens to the county council matters not. It's up to the individual. And by the way, so you understand, I support that. I support Edgewood going into a municipality. I supported it 25 years ago when we worked on it and it got voted down. You know, and I worked, and I went door to door, and I got lots of signatures, 25.
You got more help now.
Great, I support it, you know? But people have to understand it. This bill passes in Annapolis, you don't have a municipality, okay? Just understand that.
Move on.
Just gonna try to move on. I'm just gonna go over a couple things in my newsletter because they're time barred. And you look on as you go along. Item 6, Harford County scholarships. They issue 4 scholarships, $2,500 a piece. And it's all on there how to apply for it. Harford County Sheriff's Office got and Penman asked me to bring this up. Citizens Police Academy registration open for 2024. You've got through March 13th if you want to be on the Police Academy. I've already done it myself. There's a prom pop-up shop for individuals who need gowns for their proms. They give away free gowns. You know, if you can't afford to buy one for yourself, you can get one for free.
That's a good program. You gonna get one?
Harford County dental clinic, dental screening. There's a page on all that where you get all that work done free and for your children. You take it to the dental clinic up there in Edgewood. Also, when what she's talking about, the new laptops, that flyer's in here too about the free laptops. So I'm trying to cover everything. That's it. If you get a chance to read the whole newsletter, I certainly can't go through the whole thing. But if anybody else got any other questions, gladly answer them. If not, I'll sit down and shut up.
We want to get that buoy painted before the paint tax passes.
Good point. Yes, I agree with that 100%. They're trying to put a tax on paint. So go out and buy the paint, and I'll gladly get out there and help paint it. A bunch of us painted that to Rumsey Island Bridge, you know, because the county wouldn't do it, so we got the paint, we donated the money, got the paint, and we painted the bridge. 30 of them.
So Aaron's not here. Is there, someone from Andre's office?
I'm from Councilman Penman's office, but everyone does an excellent job covering everything. Councilman Guthrie and Ms. Robinson, honestly, everything on my list is checked off, so.
Okay.
Well, easy night for you, huh?
Is there a representative here from Andre's office? I know they're in session. Okay. Oh, well, I didn't know that.
I'm sorry.
Oh, introduce yourself.
I'm Terry, building at Lauren Arkin's office, and we're in full swing of legislative session, and just want to show she's working really hard for you. If you have any questions, just reach out to us.
Okay. I'm glad that, yeah, tell I said thank you for sending the representative. I appreciate it. The JV's never represented. All right, so just real quick, before we finish up on the council, I have a couple of things. Is William Graham here? Is that you, William? Okay.
I'll take like 1 minute.
He wanted to, piggyback on something he had to do with the parks, and I told him, he emailed me, and so, go ahead.
So my name is Will Graham, and I've been working for, I'm sorry, was I just yelling at you? I'm standing right behind this guy. I've been working on urban agriculture for a while, and there's a group of us now that are trying to promote it, and we're working on going to the Harford County government to try and get some legislation to create an urban agriculture program in Harford County. Essentially, it's community gardening, but more complicated. And we actually met with Parks and Rec this morning and talking about the Foster Branch Park and possibly getting a portion of that for some community agriculture, gardening. I don't know what that's going to look like yet, but and I've talked to some other people that said you really need to get community input. So instead of just going, into a community and saying, this is what you need to do. So I'm here just to remind everyone that we are working on urban agriculture, trying to start it down here in Edgewood, not start it, but expand Edgewood, Joppatowne. And if you have, kids, high schoolers, middle schoolers, elementary schoolers that are interested in agriculture, we're going to keep working on this and some input from the community, and that's all. So just keep it in mind, and we'll update more later.
I'd like to say you're welcome to come to all of our meetings, just keep us updated on, if it does come to fruition, what can we do to get involved in doing that?
Yeah, we talk about all the sports and everything, and you're saying the kids that are getting into trouble. Agriculture is it's extremely fulfilling. We're talking about healthy food. There's alternate methods to the way that we, currently use agriculture. Healthier food, feed the community, and expand on that.
When you say urban agriculture, are you talking about small lots?
Uh-huh.
Are you?
Yeah.
Inside of a house too, if there's no lot? Apartment agriculture?
Oh, you could, yeah, but,
I've seen it done on balconies.
Yeah. We're talking about something a little bigger, getting more community members involved, but yeah, you could do that. There's a ton of possibilities and a ton of benefits, socially, environmentally, food health benefits. So,
That'd be a good project even for scout troops and stuff.
Scout troops, high school kids that need community service hours, male, female, it doesn't matter. And I have a plot going where I live up in near Churchville, and I get out there after work every day, and it's fulfilling and it's meaningful, and it's important because we're not eating healthy food, and the way that we do agriculture is bad for the environment, and there's ways that you can do it to help the water quality, the air quality, pollinators, the biodiversity, the ecostructure, the list goes on and on and on.
All right, just keep us updated.
Okay, thanks.
Does he have a website or connect?
No, we don't have a website right now. We're just a ragtag group of people who are trying to stick together their spare time.
They're just getting their hands dirty, that's all.
But we'll, update this, and we've talked to Dante from James and Joe Cafe, and he's interested in buying, local, healthy, produced food by community members. So, thanks.
Will you start sending out emails again?
If you respond to it.
Ouch.
Yeah, I'll send out emails. I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated. I'll send out emails.
Question in the corner.
What's going on? Yeah.
I have another question up here.
That's not a question for him. If everybody's finished, I just have an FYI for everybody, and I forgot to bring this up. If you're traveling through Bel Air Road, basically Route 22 and Shucks Road, Thursday and Friday, it's going to be very heavy traffic. The funeral for Zach Miller, the Bel Air police officer, 40 years line of duty death. Everything's going to be at the Oak Grove Baptist Church. Just a reminder that find other ways to get through that area if you happen to be going through the area to the college or whatever, because it's going to be a lot of traffic there, a lot of police officers, basically from all over the country are coming in to say last respect. I just want to make that aware of that.
Anybody else in the community?
One quick thing, Joppatowne Lions Club, we we have the Leo's program, which is free. We started a Cub program, which is for kids from 5 to 12. We meet every Wednesday night at Good Shepherd at 6:30. This is something new. We're a Leo Club in the district now. So this is a new model that we're building up to get the kids involved, and it's teaching our Leos, which are ages 12 to 18, become leaders, because they're the ones that are running the Cubs and having them things. We're just doing little things with them right now. Like last month, they made bird feeders, but it's something to keep the kids active, and we try to get the parents involved as well.
Okay. Anybody else?
Hi, my name, once again, is Tom Taylor. My wife Claire and I are part of the We the People Voter Integrity Group. We have a petition that we're signing in reference to voter integrity. And if anybody's interested in reading over it and sign it, we have a few slots left on it. So
All right.
you have to be a registered voter in Harford County and a resident of Harford County.
Anybody else in the community? You first, and then.
Hello, hi, my name is Jonika Lynch, and I just thought about it. I want to say thank you to Joppatowne. I mean, thank you, Councilman, for coming by and assisting us and taking time, spending time with us, the rest of the ladies for After Lady Business Association. Within the last 30 days, our profit margin has skyrocketed. Y'all are like taking all the food off the shelf. So we really thank you guys for all. In Ramsey Island, we have what we call the cutest little calf down at the bottom of our business incubator. Also, we are opening up another incubator right here on Edgewood Road. We just signed our lease yesterday, so we're so excited. We are growing. This business incubator is going to be again for women in business. We are offering at the Edgewood Library. We will have different classes, everything down from home ownership, what we've been doing already. We have a great initiative for West Sierra Leone, Africa, where we send food there. We send different products there as well. So we are growing, and it is because of Harford County. It took a lot of time, but I just want to say thank you for those who have came past the cab and Ramsey Island. Ramsey Island, thank you.
Right?
He whispered to me, Ramsey Island.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll call us anything. We're fine.
Thank y'all. Thank you.
Go ahead.
So I just wanted to make one last announcement. We are having another community conversations that we've been having since November 10th. It was brought up by Ms. Stephanie Alston with Moms of Murdered Sons and Daughters, Moms Demand Action, and the Health Department, the Harford County Health Department. What we've been doing is meeting every second Friday, and we've been talking about just having open-ended conversations about how we can squash some of the violence that is here in Harford County. Now, I will say this, that our first meeting went very well. That was November 10th. And then after that, I think it was, we did one online, which was hybrid, and we had some, what I would call our local celebrities, and I am going to reference Cherie Turner, Malik Austin, and Tyrone McKissick. They do a lot of community outreach here in the county. They came out, we talked, we spoke, we had psychologists that were online to answer questions, and a pastor that was able to join us in the conversation. In response to the recent shooting that just happened at the Tiki Bar, there was a call on Facebook. You know, they wanted to know, you know, what we were going to do, you know, what can be done. And so I was able to reach out to a man named, he's called the Prison Doctor. That's his AKA number. He hails from Atlanta, Georgia. He actually goes and makes physical house calls. He talks about conflict resolution, and he goes into communities, churches, and facilities to be able to facilitate conversations. And it is not that we don't have groups out here that might be able to replicate the same thing, but sometimes we need to bring somebody from the outside that is experienced, has been there, done that, to kind of give us a shot in the arm to be able to get a good thing going out here for our young people, our parents, and our youth especially. So if you would like to join us, it's going to be March 8th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. hybrid. So you can watch us online at Community Connections Foundation or Edgewood Family, and or you can meet us in person at Rooted Bible Fellowship, and that's going to be there's an address that's on the flyer that I'll hand out to everyone, and it's open to the public. It's absolutely free, and we really want you to be a part of the conversation because, as I've always said before, it takes a village. I can't do your part, you can't do my part, but everybody does have a part that they can play. And being able to reach our families and our young people out here, that's that for that announcement. And I did have a question for Moms of Liberty. Did you do you have any data that shows that there was any voter discrepancies out here or voting discrepancies out here?
We're not with Moms with Liberty. It's We the People, the Voter Integrity Group. And
We the
We're
People.
just starting, we're just starting.
Okay, if there's a root to it, that means that, just wanting to know, did you do any data that shows that there's a problem out here in Harford County with voting?
Basically, what it is we're talking about addressing and resolving violations in advance of the 2024 elections, requiring the Maryland State Board of Elections to maintain accurate voter rolls, eliminating all electronic voting machines, returning to the use of paper ballots, eliminate widespread mail-in ballots, elimination of drop boxes, and providing photo IDs. And that's basically.
That's a big, and I say that's a very, very big job for something that I have never heard that there was a problem out here in Harford County. So that's why I'm wondering why it's a thing right now.
This is being done statewide, and, all the other counties are doing the same.
Okay, Bianca, go ahead.
I'm just gonna propose on our part that in the spirit of unity in communities, the Edgewood Family and 755 Alliance are hosting a family kite day on April the 27th at Cunyon Field, and all are invited. And fun, and a balloon man with compliments of APGSCU.
Speaking of that, don't forget March 22nd is the open house here at the Southern Precinct. And that's gonna be great. The kids get to see all the equipment and all the stuff going on. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Jones from Harford Square. Just wanted to say thank you for this forum. I started coming, I think, in January. Someone mentioned it. And through this, was able to make a lot of connections with folks. We are in Harford Square hosting a event in April 13th on Saturday, where we are utilizing a lot of services here in Harford County to really try to help change the trajectory of the negative stigma that's in Harford Square. We're one small piece of Edgewood, but we are 592 units. We've met with the police and the crime units here. We're partnering with the Southern Precinct. We've been working with Mr. Robert Wagner. He's been happily answering all of my emails and phone calls, which I really, really appreciate. 755 Alliance and DPW will be coming to help us with bulk trash. So anyone who wants to help and volunteer, great. We partner with some other folks here, Felicia and others. We'll have Upper Chesapeake is coming out to do screenings.
Oh, good.
And then we'll have some other events too. So really trying to help bring resources to the community. There was a lot of conversations around folks having no participation. I think some part of that is there's a lot of activities happening. There's not one central place where folks know where it's happening. So we're trying to bring the resources to this area so that we can try to bring resources for the kids, for the adults. So if you have programs, I try to tap everybody I can to see if you're willing to share information there, because we're trying to get it out. Our clubhouse will be opening this summer, so we want to actually have events there. So one, thank you all for being very helpful and cooperating with us, as we're just three small homeowners trying to figure this out for the community, as well as if you want to help us and volunteer, pick up trash, let us know.
Have you got a flyer? Have you got a flyer?
I'm working on that this week.
Get it here, get it in a newsletter.
Well, not only that, but then if you get to Gloria, we'll the community. Okay, so we'll start with our community
Anybody
folk.
over there?
Anybody else? Adam?
Okay. So, yeah, Jansen, you're in it. Sorry. Apologize about that. Real quick. Oh, I can't even get back there. Whatever. Nobody needs to see me on there. Edgewood High School's musical is this weekend, March 8th and 9th at 7 p.m. That's Friday. March 10th on Sunday, 2 p.m. But there's also a Sunday special at noon. There's an Under the Tea with Ariel and Friends character reception and premium seating. So that's this weekend if you want to go to that. Next Monday is a Joppa Development and Heritage Corporation meeting. We're working on that whole thing to try to get the Gunpowder State Park to give us some land in Harford County to provide some walking trails and things like that. So if you would like to come, that's 6 p.m. at the Joppatowne Christian Church building. We're going to meet upstairs, so go left in the parking lot because acoustics are better upstairs. Rich and Good Shepherd Presbyterian and the Lions Club are doing an Easter egg hunt on Saturday, March 23rd at 11, 12 and under, right?
Yes.
12 and under. And also Joppatowne Christian Church Easter egg hunt, all ages. If you want adult, we have adult stuff too, like not that kind of adult stuff, but that's from 12 to 3. And hopefully that's a good enough tagline to get you out. We're going to have a blood drive at Joppatowne High School, April 9th, during the day, 8 to 1:30. So please consider coming to give blood, especially if you're retired and not doing anything else that day. Come on by Joppatowne High School on April 9th. And then Joppatowne High School is having a play April 25th and 26th at 7 p.m. that's called Mutually Assured. And that's it.
Okay. Jansen?
No comment.
Jim, you already went?
I'm gonna just add a couple of comments. If the hospital, we're down to one hospital, Upper Chesapeake. Harford Memorial closed February the 6th. There's a standalone emergency room facility in Aberdeen now for about 24 beds. That if you can get 48 hours of that and you're cured and go home, fine. If not, they'll transport you to Upper Chesapeake. It might be Franklin. The other thing is, the other day, Upper Chesapeake had 45 boarders in there, which meant they were holding them in the ER because they had no room to send them upstairs. And that meant I think there was around a half dozen ambulances standing by. They could not offload their patients, which then backed up the ambulance responses in the county.
Damn.
So what I'm telling you is, unless you're really sick, if you got a stuffy nose or bloody fingernail or something minor, go to one of the doc in the boxes. All right?
Doc in the box.
But if you call 911, no matter what, send an ambulance there.
Hang on a second.
All right? But don't be surprised if there's not one from Joppa. It might be Kingsville, it might be Abingdon, it could be Blair, Falston, it could be White Marsh. If they're stacked up like that, then those ambulances aren't available either. So that's just going on, and as we keep increasing the population in the county, I don't know if it's gonna get any better or not. So I'm just telling you, use your head. And if you go to the doc in the box, I'd tell you to go. Somebody's got her hand up back
Yeah,
there.
Bill.
Yeah, who do we call to put pressure on that situation?
Well,
Decisions for hospitals come from the state.
yeah, it goes to the Upper Chesapeake and the University of Maryland that controls Upper Chesapeake.
But the decision to build hospitals comes from the state.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a conglomerate of hospitals in the Baltimore region that decide how many beds they want. And basically they want you to fill the beds up in Baltimore City before they build any more out in Harford County or Carroll County.
The question was, who do you contact?
So is there anybody who control that hospital board? Does the state have any power over them?
Yeah, there's some, yes, but I couldn't tell you who to call, to be honest with you.
Well, you know what, I'll see if I can find out.
I would say, if you want to,
Yeah, we'll do some research and I'll see if I can
call
find
Upper Chesapeake, get the upper management Upper Chesapeake, and then they can tell you who to call, all right?
Never call too low.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe that's something that should have went after instead of the feel-good bill that he brought up, 'cause that's something important.
We 2-3 years ago, we tried to get around that, and University of Maryland just went ahead and did what they were gonna do.
Okay, Gloria?
Yeah, Harford Land Trust is having their annual meeting, this Saturday at 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, at the Decoy Museum in Harry Grace. They're really a good group. And I will say, Chris probably did 95% of the work on a bill that's going to be spoken about, commented on tomorrow night, and it's the Ag Preservation Bill. What's so good about this bill is it used to be all the farmland in North County. That's where all our ag preservation money normally went. But now with this new bill, they're opening it up to places inside the development envelope. It doesn't have to be zoned ag. And of course, I automatically think of places that yeah, should not have been put warehouses on, so I'll just let it go at that. But it's a good group, and you should think about joining it. They do a lot for us as well as the land.
All right, so just real quick, I really want to thank everybody. This is a fantastic turnout. We hope that you take this information back to the county executive, that we have a great CAB meeting. We do have such a great community. So ideas, what kind of speaker would you like for next month? Because I was thinking that, you know, she's been in office quite a while now. Would you like a new state's attorney, Allison Healy?
Yeah, that'd be
interesting.
And see, because you know, I get some updates from her on a lot of the convictions that she's getting on a lot of the drug things and whatever. So, like I say, she's been in office well over a year, I guess, year and a half, going on 2 years. So I'll see if I can get in touch with her office and have her come out then next month. Okay, yes ma'am.
I don't wanna reopen a can of worms, but I'm so very much interested in this municipality bill and what we can do to incorporate Edgewood. My grandmother was also in the same panel back 25 years ago to incorporate Edgewood. That did not go through. She was fighting hard to go through. So can we have a discussion about that in this group about what it is that we need to do in order?
I guess we can just have to find out who, I'll have to find out, I guess in the county, who would be the person.
Johnson.
Wouldn't it be the Johnson?
The problem is we need to wait until session's over.
Oh, okay.
They're in both of them are still in session.
Right. And
Till,
then tomorrow
till April 12th, when the session ends, isn't it like April 12th, somewhere around
Yeah,
there?
about second week in April.
Yeah, so we'll try to have that at the May meeting.
Okay.
Cause then next month I'll get the state's attorney, then we can have, both Johnsons, and then we can discuss the municipality. Yes, ma'am.
Can I just ask, like, if you're municipality route, because I've been hearing this for like the past 6 years, is anybody that can put together the benefits and the, you know what I'm saying, the pros and the cons for Edgewood itself? Because what I think is,
that would be, yeah, Andre and
there's
Steve, yeah.
a group of people that understand, you know what I'm saying, and then there's a group of people that don't, but the group of people that doesn't understand is where you're gonna need all the signatures from.
You might wanna reach out, Maryland Municipal League, currently right now, there's 152 municipalities in the state of Maryland. So you wanna look into it. Maryland Municipal League can give you a lot of good information as to the pros and cons of being a municipality. I can tell you some of our municipalities, Bel Air especially, Hadley Grace, we have 3 municipalities in Harford County. And there's a lot of good with the municipalities, but of course, obviously, right away, there would be a tax involved in that where you'd have to pay for certain services and all that. I live in the town of Bel Air, and it is good. I mean, it's
And
well.
I understand, like, that's great, so like, is, just because, I mean, municipalities are great, like, we can see with our eyes how good it looks, like Bel Air, Aberdeen, but specifically for Edgewood, like, is it going to make sense? with our
Correct, yeah, that's something, exactly.
Well,
Terry's
we'll have to
past
get some
mayor of Bel
research
Air.
about it, and then wait till they get out of session. We're almost done, everybody.
And Terry, they'll send somebody to a meeting too. If you have a meeting, the organization you're talking about, they'll send somebody to the meeting.
Yes, Maryland Municipal League would come out and certainly talk to you
They'll
about
come to
it.
the
Terry's
meeting.
gonna be next.
We'll look into that. All right, go ahead.
Just briefly, at the Edgewood Rec Center, there are currently things being held on Saturday for our young men, ages 10 all the way up to 18. It is absolutely free. And young men would learn skills, trades, all kinds of things, even down to chess. Her name is Miss Sheila Tyson.
Mhm.
They gotta,
She works with
like
you,
everything else, they gotta compete.
but that is
with what
every
the sheriff's
Saturday
doing or
without
what
fail.
PG County
So,
Sheriff's doing.
the kids in
Like
the
just
community,
talking
tell them go around there. Aside from that,
Hello, hello.
aside from that, Opulent Lady Business Association, Saturday, March 16th, we will be hosting Business Balance Community Conversation, and it will be at the former Baldwin, which is now called Mi Sabor Peruviano. We will be there at 11 a.m. to 1, and we would like anybody in business or looking to start a business, come on out. Aside from that, in Joppa, at our OLBA loft, on the 30th, we will have an amazing Easter egg hunt. Bring your children out, we will have refreshments, and it's for all the communities. The rest of I'm out.
Can we look at somebody on the hospital to have a discussion? It's just reoccurring, like every month.
Well, I'll see if I can call
If we can
the hospital
figure out-
administrator and see if we can get somebody to come
Anybody
out
from the
also.
state?
Yeah, we should be able to.
Yeah.
Now I'm building houses, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a good idea, like, that's why I asked, you know.
Oh,
for
reach out to
your input.
Elizabeth Wise.
Mhm.
And where is she?
She's at Upper Chesapeake.
She runs.
I guess the
Yeah.
person from the state would be the, Maryland Board of Healthcare Quality. They're part of Maryland Health Department, but the Board of, Healthcare Quality, because they look at the quality of
Right.
the hospitals in the area and what medical services are
I'll do some
available.
research, and I'll start with the lady up in Chesapeake, and I'll do some research and move up and see who we can get to come out.
And then also, real quick, it came up in kind of the subcommittee meeting about location. A lot of people are saying that they don't participate, that they want to participate, they want to know the information, but they still, there's issues with the community, especially the Hispanic and Black community, with the police. So they asked about, do the meetings have to be at the police precinct? Because a lot of people, they just don't feel comfortable. Also, they wanted to know, how is the information getting out? Because they weren't aware of the, CAB meetings, the Community Advisory Board. And it's like, there are several groups on Facebook, is how I found out about the Community Advisory Board meeting. But a lot of your younger people, it's Instagram, it's TikTok. They call Facebook old people book and everything and stuff. So there aren't there, and then I've been in and out of the Edgewood library a lot. There isn't anything there notifying people. We talked about getting out and knocking on doors, because like he was talking about, you have this stuff going on at the rec center now and everything. The stuff that the Southern Task Force is starting to drive and everything with classes and stuff, but nobody knows it in the community. So how do we get out and reach them? Volunteers, if the people don't know that volunteers are needed, then they're not gonna get involved. So how do we reach these people that we see? I mean, I tell people in the Wawa and places and the laundromat, that was suggesting putting this information out in the laundromat. Yeah, you do, but, well, Councilman Dion, they wanna know about your newsletter. I can't afford to make copies of it and put it in the laundromat. I'm concerned, but I'm a social security recipient.
Listen, bring me email addresses. We add 12 to 15 email addresses to my email list every single week. Ask Debbie. Give me the emails and we'll send them to her for free.
Okay, I'll let them know. I'll put a sign in the laundromat.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody that there's a community bingo at Joppatowne High School, April 12th. They're still looking for donations for prizes, whether it's or if you have a business and you can donate a prize for a bingo game. It's April 12th, and you can just contact the school office if you have any donations. And
if you wanna come, that would be great. It's at 5:30.
Which school was that again?
Joppatowne.
That's what I thought.
Don't forget, March 10th, spring, change the batteries in your smoke alarm.
What if it's a 10-year smoke alarm?
Is that a flyer?
What if it's a 10-year smoke alarm?
What's that?
What if it's one of those 10-year ones? This meeting is adjourned.
Paul, I'm gonna get on your site again.
Saying,